hello, and welcome to another episode on the Redefine Me channel of the Diddy case. Okay, Tasha's checking in with the Diddy case. Okay, I told you I was going to bring y'all play by play from week one until whenever we finish. Okay, so if it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like this video up, comment in the comment section, and most importantly, subscribe to the Redefine Me channel. Okay. Woo! Welcome back. Okay. As y'all know, it was a holiday this past Monday, and so we did not have court in session. However, I'm going to bring you all what I got from, make sure I position my camera right, and let me bring my lighting forward. I'm going to give you all what we had from day 10 and 11. Okay, so they got back in court on Tuesday and today, which is Wednesday. And so 10 and 11 days, I'm going to bring that to you. Give me 1 second so I can position this lighting a little better than this. Bam, bam, bam. All right, y'all. So got the lighting a little better the way I wanted it. Okay. So I'm giving y'all a play by play. I take notes, of course. No one cameras are allowed in the courtroom, which again, I still don't think that's a good move on their part. However, that's how they chose to go. So because of that, we get press, we get all types of other people that's in the courtroom taking the notes. And so I am giving it to you all straight from my source, which is going to be none other than Law and Crime Sidebar, one of the channels that I love that is covering this case step by step. Okay, so I'm breaking it down in my way and giving it to you all so that you all can stay abreast to the case as well. Okay, so thank you all for being here. Shout out to the replay watchers as well. All right, y'all, let's get into it because I don't have a whole lot of time. I got to get on going to work. Okay, so let's start with day number 10 of the Diddy trial. Okay, so let's just back up, okay, and let's just make sure we're clear. Okay, the prosecution has to prove two crimes under the racketeering to get the racketeering charge prosecuted against Diddy. So things such as he carried a weapon, they can prove that as far as Kid Cudi's car, he performed arson. They can prove that. So this is why they're going down this road of talking about Cassie, talking to staff members, talking about Kid Cudi's car, things like that. Why that keeps coming up, because they're trying to prove certain charges under the racketeering. So he has 34 counts against him. All they have to do is prove two of those in order to get a conviction. Okay. So a lot of people are saying, oh, how are they going to prove racketeering? How are they going to prove sex trafficking? They only need certain things to be able to prove this type of charges or these type of charges against Diddy. So you don't need to prove a plethora of things. If you can prove a couple of things, then he can be prosecuted for said crimes. Okay. Thank you so much for the compliment. Welcome to the live, Amble. I think that's your name. I can't see because the light is in my face a little bit. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and like this video, and let's continue to cover this case day 10 and day 11. Okay. So I'm starting with day 10. Let's get on to it. On day number 10, Capricorn Clark took the stand. Now, Capricorn Clark is a former assistant of Diddy. She used to work for Diddy. She started working for Diddy 2004 through 2006. Okay, around that time is when she started working for him. Okay, she was his assistant. She was director of marketing back in 2008, and then she got a promotion in 2016, and she was hired as Cassie's brand director, ambassador, to create her look and everything. She testifies that she and the bodyguard went over to Kid Cudi's house, and so we get into the Kid Cudi story again. Okay, and so Capricorn Clark said that now back up, she has a history with Diddy's rival, who we all know is Suge Knight. Okay, when it comes to the industry game, y'all know back in the 90s they had the East Coast West Coast thing, you know, the whole thing that happened with Biggie, Tupac, all of that. And so Capricorn Clark lets us know that she was signed to Death Row Records before Bad Boy. Okay, she says that Suge Knight is is actually her best friend's baby daddy. Now, we already know, we don't know all the children that Suge Knight has, right? But when she said best friend, baby daddy, I'm thinking to myself, Miss Chalet. Now, she did not clarify if it was Miss Chalet or not, but she did say that Suge Knight is her best friend's baby daddy. I don't know. Y'all can, if y'all know more about it, y'all drop it in the comments. But that's immediately who I went to and who I was thinking of. Okay. So she gives us a story about what happened with Kid Cudi's car. She says Diddy and one of his bodyguards named Uncle Paulie and herself went over to Kid Cudi's house. Now, before they got to Kid Cudi's house, they actually took Capricorn Clark to Central Park one day. And she said that they had a very intimidating conversation because once he found out, right, that she was working with Death Row Records with Suge Knight, who is his rival at the time, he then took her to Central Park. So before we get to Kid Cudi, let's talk about this conversation. Now, he gives her a very intimidating conversation, him and Uncle Paulie, who was his bodyguard, and they took her to the park very calmly and said they would unalive her if she ever dealt with Suge Knight. And she said that conversation was very intimidating. She was very nervous, very scared, but they was very calm when they was saying it. And people who threaten you in a calm tone, those are the ones that you that you have to watch out for, because those are the crazy crazies that really have nothing to lose. Okay. She was asked, I'm sorry, hold on, y'all. Okay. So one of the questions she was asked on the stand by the lawyers was, did she ever observe Diddy with a gun? Okay. And so she said that he likes guns, and he said that he was not going to go back and forth with the person. He'd rather just have a gun, right? He had a beef with 50 Cent at a certain point. And so with that beef, he said he likes guns. He alluded to her in that fact. So at this time, she did not clarify that she actually saw him with the gun, but we're going to get into later when she goes and tells that she actually saw him with the gun. She said that while working for Diddy, some of his items came up missing. Now she's giving kind of the same story that David James gave. Y'all remember David James? A couple of trial episodes ago with y'all, David James was one of Diddy's assistants, right? So she's now about to give a same story similar to what David James had gave her as his assistant at this point, right? So she says that a watch came up missing, a necklace came up missing, some really expensive jewelry. And so Diddy then, and when she's talking about this, and I'm thinking about her conversation or testimony and David James' testimony, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so he must be intentionally doing this with this missing jewelry so that he could then hook them up to these lie detector tests, or seeing how far they would go or their loyalty lies with him as their boss. So he made her take a lie detector test, okay? And so she took this lie detector test. He had jewelry that was on loan to him from Jacob the jeweler, and they took her to this building that was under Bad Boy, something that they rented or owned or what have you. And she was taken to this building. Uncle Paulie was there again. Before they got to the building, they went to her house and they trashed her place looking for the jewelry. Then they took her to this building on the 6th floor. They would not let her leave, held her hostage in this building, and performed lie detector tests on her, multiple ones. The first one came back inconclusive, and she said that was probably because she was nervous. And with a lie detector test, you have to stay calm. You, of course, have to tell the truth and everything. And sometimes when people are hooked up to something like that, they may end up stumbling or forgetting something, or it may come back inconclusive because they're nervous. So the first one came back inconclusive, and then she took another one. And she said these lie detector tests would go on for a whole entire day. Not only would they go on for a whole entire day, and she would take several of them, she had to come back up to 5 times to take these lie detector tests. So once they figured out that the lie detector tests, she was telling the truth on some of them, one was inconclusive, Uncle Paulie told her she could now go back to work for Diddy. So anybody in their right mind would be wondering why a person would want to go back to work after they have been under these conditions. First, you taken to Central Park, you've been threatened, then you are taken to an office, and then you're not allowed to leave the office until you perform these lie detector tests that lasted all day, and then you decide to go back and work for Diddy. That to me is just confusing, but however, that's what she did. Now, fast forward on to the Kid Cudi situation. They asked her about that because y'all remember she was the one that was in the vehicle with Diddy and Uncle Paulie. We found out Uncle Paulie was in that video. Now, Uncle Paulie needs to be called to testify too, because it seems that in her testimony, his name came up quite a lot. Okay. So Kid Cudi's situation. So y'all know it happened back in 2011, December 2011. Cassie was seeing him at this time. She verified, they show her a picture of Kid Cudi. They said, is this Kid Cudi? They showed her in the courtroom. Capricorn Clark did verify that that was, in fact, Kid Cudi who we're talking about. Capricorn Park, Park. Capricorn Clark and Cassie one day was taking a walk in the trail, and they asked Kid if he wanted to join them. Capricorn said she was concerned of Diddy finding out about their little trail walk, and y'all would think it's innocent enough, it's just a walk. However, Diddy did not like the fact that Cassie and Kid was, getting close and dating, right? So Capricorn Clark asked Cassie to buy a burner phone so that they could text and communicate and things of that nature, so that it would not link back to Diddy or link back to him finding out her phone number, right? Unknown number. Capricorn says before the Kid Cudi situation, she heard a loud bang on her door one night, and she looked out the peephole, and it was in fact Diddy. He was upset, and he had a gun in his hand. He was pacing back and forth. He had a gun in his hand, and she opened the door, which I don't understand why. I would have grabbed a phone and called the police. That's what I would have done, right? But she opened the door. He told her to, in fact, get dressed, and that they were going to pow pow or unalive Kid Cudi. Okay, and so this is when we get to the incident and the story of what happened. So they got in the car. They were in a black Escalade. They get in the car. He put the gun, the pow pow, on his lap. Once they were inside the Escalade, they then are accompanied by Ruben Rue. So Uncle Paulie was not in this car. Back up, my bad. I did say he was in an Escalade, but Uncle Paulie was not in the car. It was actually Ruben. Ruben was one of course, another one of Diddy's henchmen or assistants, and he was in the car at this time, and he was driving the vehicle, which is that black Escalade. So Capricorn Clark was in there, Diddy was in there, and they drove from her house to Kid Cudi's house. His house is in Hollywood Hills, and when they got there, she stayed in the Escalade while Diddy and Rue got out of the Escalade, went into Kid Cudi's house. While she was inside the Escalade, she tells us that she then picked up her phone and she called Cassie, and she could hear Kid Cudi in the background. And so Capricorn says she told Kid, hey, don't come back to your house. Diddy is here at your house. Of course, imagine hearing that from Kid Cudi. He is up here saying, oh my God, I'm about to go to my house. What is this N-word doing to my house? Stuff like that, right? And so she was warning him, though, don't come back here because they're trying to kill you. So once she warned him of that, Kid did in fact pull up to his house at some point while they were there. Okay, so she lets us know that when Diddy and Rue saw him, they got into the Escalade and they ended up getting on a high-speed chase following Kid Cudi. Now, this is the first time we hearing about this high-speed chase that they had following Kid Cudi. They chased him and chased him until they had lost him. So at this point, Kid had, I guess, called the police in the midst of this. The police gets over to Kid Cudi house, and I'm sorry, he gets over to Kid Cudi house. Diddy asks her not to tell the police about this situation, or he would unalive everybody. Okay, so Diddy at this time was acting like he was a mob boss, waving around his power, waving around his money, saying that he would do this and do that. And because he has actually had some things come to fruition and happen, people are scared of him for the mere fact of his connections, his money, his power, all of those things. Okay, so Capricorn then tells us that Diddy went back to his house to violently beat up Cassie. Okay, and probably because he found out that Cassie had a burner phone, that Cassie was dealing with Kid, and so he got out of control. He went back to her house to inflict abuse on her. Capricorn was there, and she was just like, looking like she wants to jump in it. Diddy told her if she jumped in this, then he would unalive her or beat her up too, So Capricorn is calling D-Rock, one of Diddy's staff members to stop Diddy from beating her up. She's calling another bodyguard. Another bodyguard did not stop it. Okay, so Cap says that she ended up calling Cassie's mom and told the mom, hey, I can't call the police, but you can call the police. So I guess mom then intervened and called the police. released. Capricorn says that no one intervened with this violence towards Cassie, that he continued to, abuse and beat her. Okay. At this time, this was when the time when Diddy says that he would release these sex tapes to her mom and to Cassie and everything. And we get into the fact that the mom was saying she had to pay him in order for him not to release those said tapes. Okay. And so we heard that testimony from actually Cassie's own mother. So Capricorn also let us know that, she actually hated working for Diddy. Now, at this point, I feel like Capricorn ends up contradicting herself a little bit, but she said she hated working for Diddy because it was not a normal job. It was a 24-hour, 8-day, 24-hour, 8 job. Okay. So not even 24 hours, 7 days a week. Working for Diddy was a 24-hour, 8-day-a-week job. Okay. And she said on a good night, she would get about 4 hours of sleep. On a bad night, she would get about 2 hours of sleep. She said due to the stress, she ended up suffering stress, alopecia, of course, hair loss, alopecia. She would end up suffering that. I didn't even know there was a such thing, but she went to the doctor and that's what they said. She said as an assistant for Diddy, she was making 65K, and she was actually owed $80,000 of overtime, which when she presented paperwork to Diddy outlining that this is what she was owed due to the overtime, he ripped it up and of course did not pay her. She also let us know that, like David James, his other assistant that had testified, she had to set up hotel rooms. She had to pack and unpack things. She had to make sure that the rooms were booked under Frank Black, Frank White. Those were his aliases that he used. She unpacked toiletries. She let us know that. She unpacked drug bags, lube, and baby oil. So her testimony is similar to that of David James, where she had to set up these rooms for these freak off sessions. Okay. She said she would also clean up the rooms. There would be baby oil on the walls, etc. Same thing David James said. Okay. So her and David James wasn't in the room when each other was testifying. And so the fact that they both have kind of the same similar stories of being an assistant of Diddy's and let us know that this is what's happening, which 9 out of 10, they're true. Unless they spoke to each other outside of this saying that this is what we're going to say, but I doubt it. She said that she was contacted though by an arson investigator. That person reached out to her in 2012 asking her about the Kid Cudi arson incident with his vehicle. So she said that Diddy threatened to cut her face if she got into talking to this arson detective. Okay. So fast forward, Capricorn got a 30-day notice from the Diddy's HR with Bad Boy Records, saying that she has to now leave her job. They were terminating her, and the HR said they were terminating her because she did not properly take her vacation time. Now we all know that's a lie. Okay, that's really straight up cap. Okay, so Capricorn is saying they let her know that it was not about the Kid Cudi situation of why she's getting terminated, but because she did not take her vacation time properly. I have never heard of a job firing you because you don't take your vacation time properly. She said because she lost her job with Diddy, she lost her home, she lost her car, and she was struggling. Okay, so she got fired in August of 2012. By October of 2012, though, she settled with Diddy in some type of settlement. Now, they didn't give us exactly the amount that she settled for with him, but she settled with him. When a cross-examination got up to ask Capricorn these questions, they start off really easy, really friendly, trying to work up a rapport with her and everything. And then they start asking Cassie some hard questions about her relation. I'm sorry, Cassie. Capricorn Clark, some hard questions about her relationship with Cassie. In 2008, she said that actually she didn't really like Cassie. So we've been hearing that, her and Cassie had a relationship, a connection, maybe even possibly a friendship. But she lets us know that she did not like Cassie because at first she came in all sweet and really nice girl. And then after she had been with Diddy for some time, she turned out to be this feisty girlfriend. And Capricorn Clark said she did not like the fact that she was acting like that. And in my mind, I'm thinking she started maybe acting like that because she had got exposed to being showered with all these gifts and things like that. And then maybe she got got exposed to doing these freak offs and things. And so maybe that changed her personality, I guess. I don't know. So she says that Cassie, and this part I thought was a little chuckle that I did do to myself when I heard it. She said that Cassie has talent, but she's not talented. Okay. And I was just like, listen, she ain't lying about that. Okay. Because as if we think about Cassie, right, we you cannot name songs that she's been on. She has a song, she put out a album, she's been in maybe a handful of maybe little movies and stuff, maybe little parts. I've seen her on a sitcom, not a sitcom like a funny sitcom, but a sitcom like a drama sitcom. I can't remember what it was. I think it was The Game or something like that that she appeared on. So Cassie's career is very, C-list at best, maybe under that. I mean, she did do some modeling and things like that, but so she says that she is a talent, but she wasn't talented. Okay. She says she's more of a studio artist and not a live artist. So basically saying they can add some things to her voice in the studio to make it sound great, to get on some records and sell some things, but live performance, that's not her lane. Okay. She says in 2009, Cassie didn't work hard. She started to feel like this, I guess, spoiled princess because Diddy was providing everything for her. She says that Cassie wasn't struggling. Diddy was providing everything that she needed. Like I just said, even the studio payments, the paying for the apartment, car, things of that nature. She says in 2016, she was brought back on Bad Boy. Now y'all remember she got fired in 2012. Okay, after the Kid Cudi situation happened, she got fired. In 2016, she got brought back on to Bad Boy Enterprises as Cassie's brand stylist. She was responsible for creating her look and things like that on the red carpet, the look that Diddy wanted her to have. And she was hired as a stylist. However, Diddy called the shots. I want your hair up. I want it down. I want you wearing this makeup, these type of clothes. So after she was kidnapped, y'all know for the lie detector test that I told y'all about, she ended up going back to work as usual. And so the defense was trying to paint the picture that if Diddy was such this bad person, if you've seen all this and went through all this, why would you then go back to work as usual? However, it was a job that was paying her a decent amount of money. She had a child, she has a son, Capricorn, and she had apartment, houses, whatever. She had cars. She had to have a livelihood and live. And sometimes people will look the other way when it comes to, them getting some money and getting their needs met, right? Moving on, Cassie at a certain point actually became friends with Capricorn. She would tell Capricorn when Capricorn would drop her off at her hotel, could you stay with me at the hotel because I don't want to be left alone in the hotel. Probably because Cassie was in fear that Diddy would pop up at any random moment and abuse her or want to do a freak off or whatever he wanted to do. Fast forward, they talked about some emails in the court of day 10. In 2014 to 2015, Capricorn sent all these different emails to Diddy. The first one was an email that she was, I'm sorry, that she was saying that it was petty to fire her over the situation of the Kid Cudi incident. And then all the emails after that was outlining like well wishes to him and his family. She sent him a happy birthday email. She hoped everything worked out for him. And so a lot of you may be saying, why is she sending him these good wishes emails after the company fired her? He held her hostage to take these lie detector tests. He did all of these things. Why would she do that? Why? Because she was trying to get back with Bad Boy and working with them. Okay. Capricorn says she believed that Cassie is the reason why she lost her job of working with Diddy. I don't know. That's a little far fetched, but that's what she said on the stand. She said she believed Cassie was the reason. She said she was, trying to get back with Diddy because Diddy had blacklisted her in the industry. She was trying to get other jobs with other celebrities and it was not happening. So this is why she wanted to get back and work with him. Capricorn says she was planning to work with him. And get this, y'all, she was planning to work back with Diddy as recent as 2024. So as recent as last year, she was trying to get back and work with him. While she was on the stand recalling her getting fired and losing everything, she started getting emotional, tearing up a little bit because she was recalling all of this. But in April of 2024, she met up with Diddy lawyer team to discuss returning to the staff because she said says that returning to the staff would be a good look because a lot of people knew Capricorn Clark and that she had a good rapport and a good name, and maybe she could die down some of the bad press that Diddy was getting. So she was selling herself in 2024 to the legal team so that she could start working again with Bad Boy. Um, Before that, though, in 2023, she got a lawyer after Cassie had filed her lawsuit because she thought that Cassie was going to, she didn't understand what the lawsuit was about. So she thought that Cassie would have dragged her into the lawsuit. So she went ahead and got a lawyer to cover her basis of stuff that she saw happening to Cassie so that she wouldn't then be on trial with Diddy. Okay. Um, what else happened? This is on day 10. So when she wanted to come back, when she was talking to the legal team in 2024, she wanted to come back as the chief of staff. And chief of staff has also been fulfilled by another woman. Her name has been dropped. I can't remember her name in this case, but she wanted to be filled in that position. However, at that time when she was trying to come back, Diddy was already under investigation, and so the lawyers was telling her they don't think it's a good idea for her to come back and be in that role. She began to get emotional again because she let us know that she just could not find a job. She said she was supposed to have managed 50 Cent, but when she was supposed to start with 50 Cent, there was a loss of staff under 50 Cent. And so because that staff member had passed, she could not start with 50 Cent. She also lets us know that Andre Harrell, which is one of Diddy's mentors, long-term friend, and Diddy followed her around, pressing her not to proceed with any legal issues because she could not find a job and things of that nature. At this time, when Capricorn is on the stand, and she gave a lot of testimony, a lot of things, right? The jury is engaged. They're focused on her testimony. They're taking notes, things of that nature. So, the judge at this time also brought up that there was some female DNA on the makeshift bomb that blew up the Kid Cudi's car. And so this happened outside of the jury. Sorry, y'all, something in my eye. This happened outside of the jury. He said, told the lawyers that there was female DNA that was tested on the item. So they did not say if this female DNA was Capricorn's or if it was somebody else's. However, they are going to see if that would be added to the case. Right now, if the defense team had any sense, they would add on that female DNA because then that would kind of clear Diddy from the situation of actually throwing the said item. Now, that doesn't mean that he was not there. So that was day 10. Moving on to day number 11. Thank you all for being here. Go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button. And shout out to the replay watchers. I'm giving y'all coverage from day 1 up until now, up until whenever this trial is over. Okay. So day number 11. Okay. We get the celebrity stylist on the stand. His name is Deontay Nash. So Deontay Nash came in the courtroom and he was very funny, very sassy and everything. He even saw a picture of himself and he says, "Oh my goodness, I look fabulous in that picture." And so he brought the comic relief again, like Kid Cudi did, into the courtroom, and people were up here laughing, chuckling at him. But then it also got serious because the questioning started. So he was a stylist for Diddy and for Cassie. He started as an intern between 2008 and 2000. He started, I'm sorry, as an intern, and then he started working for Bad Boy around 2008 to 2018, a 10-year span that he was a stylist for Cassie, really more over than Diddy. So he said he saw Cassie and Diddy together almost once every day, once a week, every day he saw them together, and which was a lot for them. He said that Diddy would call her like loving names such as, baby girl, sweetheart, things of that nature. However, he will also call her horrible names like the B word. He would call her SLUT. He would call her hoe, things like that. And so Cassie, when being called these names, were very sad, of course, because no woman wants to be demeaned and called these type of names, right? And so Diddy would, threaten to release sex tapes. He would threaten not to release her music. And so he did all of those things to her. He also said he would threaten to do something to her parents. And so Diddy said that she couldn't go out with Deontay, the person that they are questioning. He said that she had to do whatever Diddy said. Okay. And so that was the stylist that came up and gave his testimony. The next witness that came up was Officer Christopher, and I didn't get his last name. He was the officer that was sent to Kid Cudi's house in 2011. And he talked about the break-in and what he had saw. He said he was dispatched to Kid Cudi's house at 8:20 a.m. About I'm sorry, hold on, y'all. He was dispatched there. When he got there, he actually witnessed a black Escalade. Okay. And so y'all remember Capricorn Clark said that they had rode over to Kid Cudi's house in a black Escalade. So Diddy was so arrogant that he had the nerve to still be there in a black Escalade at Kid Cudi house when the police arrived. So he said he pulled up, he saw the black Escalade. He said he did not notice who was inside the black Escalade because the tent was really, really dark. But he said, however, he did remember the license plate number. And so he kept that in his mental as he proceeded to go into Kid Cudi's house. When he went into Kid Cudi's house, he said he did notice the unwrapped gifts. Y'all know Kid Cudi testified to that. He said when he exited the home after he did his survey of the home, he saw the Escalade leaving the home in a slow pace. Okay, so the Escalade was leaving once he got out of the home. Once he made it back to the police station, he remembered this license plate number and he looked it up, and it was in fact registered to Bad Boy Inc. Okay, so the Escalade that Diddy then was in was actually registered to his company, and we can believe at this point in time that whoever was in the Escalade was in fact Diddy, Capricorn Clark, and Ruben, the driver. So moving on, they also called another witness on the stand. His name was Lance Jamez. I'm probably saying that name wrong. He was the arson investigator. Okay, he said he concluded that someone threw a bottle into Kid Cudi's car. They cut out the roof, I guess, for some type of ventilation or whatever. Now, I'm thinking at my time when he's describing what a person could have done to cause this type of explosion in this video, that I mean, I'm on this type of explosion on this vehicle, that this person has actually done this before. Because for you to know to cut out the roof and throw the bottle a certain way and everything to cause this damage, meaning that you probably did this before. Okay. He actually lets us know that the damage to the vehicle wasn't as bad as people think, because he said he has seen worse as an arson investigator. Okay. So, they also let us know that on day 11, the fingerprint cards was tampered with. The information was messed with. And so because of that, the defense team tried to say that they wanted a mistrial. Now, I don't understand how they could say they wanted a mistrial for the whole entire trial because the fingerprints were tampered with. And they're saying that Diddy or someone was likely the person that destroyed the fingerprint cards. Now, I don't know. Of course, the judge denied the mistrial. There's not going to be a mistrial. However, they wanted that because of the fingerprinting on the bottle that they found outside of the car and on the car was tampered with, was destroyed. The evidence was destroyed. So I don't know if Diddy actually did it. That's what they were alluding to. And that's why they were trying to get a mistrial, which the judge did not do it, because he was like, no, sir, that's not grounds enough for a mistrial. Okay. So in this moment, that was the end of his short little testimony. The jury was involved. They were taking notes. They were engaged. They weren't nodding off. Everybody was paying attention. And so the jury is very involved in this case. And that was wrapped up day number 11. So yeah, y'all, that was day and 10 of the Diddy trial. My notes that I got from it. Of course, you know, on YouTube is blowing up right now. So y'all may come across several other people that is covering the case as well. But I thank you all for being here with me. Okay. And I told you I was going to bring y'all all of the trial from day one until they finish this trial. So I'm going to be coming out, you know, today was day number 11. And so tomorrow, of course, is day number 12. However, I bring 2 days at one time. So I'm going to be doing 12 and 13. And I'm probably going to come out with that on Friday. Okay. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, make sure your notification bell is on so that you are here and ready to get this information for this trial if you are interested in saying it when I go live. I thank you all so much for joining me. If you have any comments, shout out to the replay watchers. Any comments, anything you want to drop in the chat that I may have left out, go ahead and do so. And we can get it popping in the chat. I do respond to comments and stay engaged with my subscribers. I love y'all so much. Thank you for joining me. And this is Tasha going to be signing out with these 2 days. Y'all let me know what y'all think, okay? When you're live, all types of stuff happen. The daggone book fell on the floor. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all so much. Until we meet again. Bye.